Fred Sandoval, the city manager of Pharr, hoping to continue his work to improve quality of life in the city after the commission accepted his resignation letter last night. Action 4's Annalise Ortiz sat down with him today as he reflected on his 17 years in office. She's live now in front of Pharr City Hall.
Marcy, Fred Sandoval says he wasn't surprised that city commissioners accepted his resignation letter last night. That's because he said at the last city commission meeting, commissioners did discuss the positions of staff and department heads, and he had a feeling his positions would be one of those that was discussed in executive session. Now, even though he is hanging up the hat as city manager, Sandoval says he still wants to focus on more growth for the city.
You know, they want to move in a different direction for the city manager position, and that's fine.
Fred Sandoval says he always knew he'd eventually have to choose between his position as city manager or director of the Economic Development Corporation. He only has 2 weeks left as city manager, and his contract to continue with the EDC still has to be negotiated. But he says he's optimistic that's where he will continue to serve.
I think I can be as good or better service to the city and the taxpayers of Pharr as the Economic Development Director.
He says he's proud of how far the city has come throughout his tenure, despite criticism of some decisions, like an $11 million investment in Costco.
It wasn't, done on my signature alone. I think the council at that time had a big role in that. The marching orders were to get Costco and to keep them here in Pharr. And I think in the long run it's going to pay dividends, and it already has.
He also stood by a Toby Keith concert held at the Pharr Event Center last year that lost about $300,000. He says what many don't know is that Toby Keith is a Ford-sponsored artist, which helped the city in winning over bogus Ford. They signed an $800,000 naming rights contract with the Pharr Event Center.
If we hadn't had the concert, chances are we never would have gotten that opportunity with that great auto dealer.
I'm waiting to hear if there's any suggestions.
As for the city commission, he says he looks forward to the potential of working with them and his successor in the future.
Now, Sandoval says he doesn't have an idea right now of who could possibly take over as city manager, but he says he does want to play a role in that decision-making process. Live from Pharr City Hall, Annalise Ortiz, Action 4 News.
All right, Annalise, thanks for that live report.